Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Chronicle podcast. I'm your guys' host, Dakota Morgan, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona. And of course, today we have a really fun guest for you, Gavin Smith, the guy who's worked on Trek, Dead Legends, all sorts of stuff like that. A wonderful artist. We talk about all sorts of stuff with working on Star Trek. We talk about working on comics in general, of course, because, Chronicle podcast. And, of course, we talk about corgis and animals and fun times, adventures, working in film and television when him and I used to do that sort of thing. Kind of around the same time period, actually, a little bit. But it's really fun, laid-back episode. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you do, subscribe, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or whatever podcast you're listening on. It helps us out greatly if you leave a review, too, wherever you're listening as well. If you want to, too, be sure to check me out on social media at Dakota Morgan3 on Twitter, Instagram at Dakota_Morgan97. If you want to keep in touch with all the stuff I do for comic books, video games, toys, the podcast, all the jazz like that. And of course, we actually talk about Twitch later on at the end of the show, but I'm on Twitch if you want to catch me live, raw and uncut when I do video games at Coda with a K, Rex97, and DakotaMorgan.store if you guys want to check out all the merch we have now. And the store is going to get updated very soon too. One of the many projects I have to work on in the hell of weeks that have been lately. But thanks everybody. Hopefully you guys enjoy this episode. Subscribe for more if you like it. Really helpful. And let's stop me rambling to say the very least here. And let's dive into this really fun talk with Gavin Smith. Please, for the love of God, technology, you have not been my friend. Yes, it is recording. This is the one professional thing I like to do on the show is Gavin, welcome to the show. Good man. I like to welcome people to the show. It's kind of the thing. It keeps me relatively professional.
Well, thank you for having me, Dakota. Appreciate it.
Of course. Now the show's over. No.
Yeah. See you next week.
Yeah. See you next week, everybody. Yeah, peace. God bless. No, it has been a hell of a week, my man. But. So what is the name of that show again? So at least I have it recorded too, because I don't have a.
I think you should leave.
Think you should leave.
Yeah.
Okay. To anyone listening right now, we just got done talking about this show, and how many seasons are there?
It's just 2, and it goes by really quick. It's a quick, you're gonna be, I think the episodes are 15 minutes long, maybe 5 or 6 episodes a season. It goes by real fast. It's got the guys from the Detroiters. I don't know if you saw that show. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
But yeah, real funny show, real quick. I won't ruin any of it for you, but there was something for you listeners out there that Dakota said before when we were getting ready to set up that I was like, oh, are you quoting this or are we?
Yeah, I was like, is the show's laid back? You can say what the hell you want and stuff like that. And then they're like, oh, wait, quote? I like to say that because people, I've had people on the show before, and I guess it was about a year or two. I'm never gonna forget it. I don't remember who it was. I just remember we were talking and shit, and then it turned into a sex story about the girl and her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Can I talk about this?" I'm like, "I don't give a shit. This show's way uncensored. There's no way it's getting the PG rating ever on iTunes.
Right.
So whatever." We have said so many words on this show before and talked about so many stories. Me and David Herwood talked about how we feel like badasses in the beginning of the pandemic. A.K.A. Martian Manhunter from Supergirl. I had him on the show a while back, and this was beginning pandemic, and we were talking about how we got really fat. We were eating too much candy and shit, and it's like, yeah. And
as he's saying it through a full mouth, maybe.
Yeah, as he was making steak.
Right.
Yeah, well, it was a barbecue, and that's a man right there. Yeah, no. So that's the beauty, I think, of doing pod. Have you ever done a podcast before? Or been on one?
I've never hosted one. Yeah, I've been on a bunch. Yeah. A couple of friends of mine in town. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana, and some friends of mine host one. So I'd go on there every once in a while. I've, anytime I'm getting ready to do or release a new book, I kind of go on a little podcast tour and do some shows. Yeah. So I think you're the first of my. I've got books coming out this.
Oh shit! Really?
Season. Yeah. I think I'm actually
playing it that way.
Yeah, it's fun. I didn't either. It was good timing on your part when you got in touch, and I think it's funny. My buddy James Maddox, who collaborates with me on Dead Legends, he actually got in touch with me. I think about an hour after you emailed me. He was like, "Hey, Wednesday at 5.
Oh,
I'm doing another one tomorrow."
Oh God.
And sorry, my dog keeps barking. I got a little corgi who barks at the wind.
Oh, that's why you're a Corgi enthusiast on Twitter.
Yes.
That makes sense. I agree, sir. I agree. I work in an exotic animal hospital. I work with wildlife such as crocodilians, poisonous snakes, stuff like that. I do a bunch of shit like that when I'm not writing comic books, but and podcasting apparently. And like I tell you, corgis, I still love with a passion. I love them.
They're great.
I don't know why.
They're wonderful. This is my second one.
It's your second one. Okay.
Yeah.
There is something I gotta ask because I've not a lot of corgi owners, because before I did exotics, I started out at an animal hospital for oncology with cancer and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, is it true as corgi owners? This is the second one. Are they more? I was told that they are, but have you experienced any of that yet with corgis? I was told they're more susceptible to shit like that.
As far as what?
Like cancer and tumors and shit like that. Like a golden retriever. Like everyone's like, don't get a golden because you never know. Like that's my fear because I want to get a corgi sometime in my life. That's my fear.
That hasn't been my experience. So my first one, I had Wally. I got him as a puppy, and I only had him technically for about a year and a half before I had to give him back to my mom. I got him through my mom because my mom had a corgi and she had puppies, so that's how I got Wally. But then I had gotten accepted to go to Joe Kubert School in Dover, New Jersey. So I had to give him back. But, obviously he's with my mom, so he's still in my life. So, I come back and watch him. And then when I eventually moved back to Indianapolis and got a place with my now wife, we would babysit for Wally a lot. So I got to see him a lot the last 6 years before he passed last year.
Oh.
Yeah. But and then and then we got Coco, who's my current corgi. She was my mom. I got her again through my mom because my mom also a corgi enthusiast. She in her town, a couple had her, and she was like 9 years old, and they just didn't want her anymore, so they gave her to my mom. My mom had her for about 6 months, and then both of her parents, my grandparents, weren't doing well towards the end of their lives, and she couldn't handle watching two corgis, and this was when Wally was still alive too. So then we took on Coco, and she's more rambunctious than Wally ever was. Wally was chill, but she doesn't have tumors or anything like that, and she's 14 now.
Oh my God!
Yeah, okay. She's good. Like she's diabetic.
Aren't we all in a way though?
Yeah, right. But other than that, she's pretty good.
Good.
Like we had a little bit of a scare not that long ago, but she's on the other side of it. She's back to normal. So like, I mean, she's 14 and acts like a puppy.
That's what you want to hear.
Yeah,
that's what you want to see. Okay, I just saw so many at the oncology center, man, and I was like corgi. Like I wanted to get your opinion on that because I know they're great dogs. I mean, come on, like corgi butts. It sounds weird and perverted, but it's not. I swear to God, this is cute.
It's really funny. It's really cute. It's just a little heart-shaped butt running around your house.
Taste. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh God, I think she has one left too.
That's it.
I think. I don't think she. I think all the rest of them have passed. I think she has only one.
Oh wow!
Let's be honest. Would you want to adopt a dog at her age?
That's kind of what I was about to say. Like, I can't imagine. Like, I mean, handling. I mean, I can't imagine that she directly takes care of them either.
So, but they're gonna want to love her the most,
right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess I could see if she did want to adopt more. I don't know. I wouldn't imagine her at her age wanting to adopt an older corgi.
Yeah.
Because like at that age, I don't know if I could handle like a dog death when I'm that old. But
I don't know. That would be rough. I mean, I've seen it before, and it's not really disclosing client information. The best I can say is I've seen the people who get birds like in their middle age because like somebody like I've seen. It worries me because the guy who's with the love of his life right now. It worries me to see like my middle age because I've met so many men in their middle age who are now older, like 30 years later, they got a bird that lives a long time. Like I got the bird because it replaced my wife because she died. Like, oh my God,
dark.
Oh, and I've seen so much of it. Or it's like, my husband died, so I got this bird, or this animal that lives like 45 years. It's like
Right.
this one, her husband died at a young age, and she's like an older woman in her 60s, 70s, and she's like, yeah, the tortoise has aged with me. It's a 50-year-old tortoise. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh God.
I don't. That's a level right there that I'm like, if I die, she's replacing me. If she dies, I'm getting a bird.
Right.
But I'm hearing I can't get a corgi because it's only a good 15 years.
Right. Oof.
She's looking at me now in the studio like, you bitch. Oh man. But yeah, cool. I mean, for comics, all right.
Yeah. We're what, like 10 minutes, and we haven't even started on comics yet.
That's the show. I don't know if you ever listen to the show. Like, we talk about comics on the show and I brought on guests, but we talk about a shit ton of other stuff too.
That's cool. Okay, so I did a quick run through of like, I didn't get a chance to listen to anything, but I did a quick run through of like people you've had on, and I've seen you've had like some friends of mine, which is pretty cool.
Oh really?
Yeah, like I think the last one you did was Rich Stoic, and and Rich and I are friends, and we were actually working on something together right before I got Star Trek, so it's kind of on hold for the time being.
Oh, I think you mentioned that project.
Did he?
He didn't say what it was. He didn't say what it was, but saying it was a project kind of got put on hold and stuff like that. I think we mentioned something about that.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. No. We didn't say what it was. Don't worry.
The crazy thing is, like, it's really good too, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to get back to it. Like, the way things are looking, it might not be till like 2023. So
God.
Yeah, right. God. Which sounds crazy,
but then,
yeah, but it sounds crazy, but then it's now August of 21, which is this year is just blowing by.
Yeah, that's you're right. I had to fill out a form the other day at the hospital, and I was like, oh yeah, it's still. I put a 7 instead of an 8. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's August, right? And I'm like, no,
that's not as bad as what I did. I was at a small convention last weekend in Dayton, Ohio. Ooh. And this show called Gym City Comic Con. It's like 2 hours away from my place, so I do it every year. It's good show. But I was signing something for someone, and I usually sign things like it's a basketball game. So I write 2K something, whatever the year is, and it's 2K. So I'd write 2K21 in this instance. Yeah. But for some reason I wrote 2K11. I was like, oh no, I'm so sorry.
They're gonna be like, what the hell is this? And
yeah,
like,
where'd those 10 years go?
Oh my God! I thought you were gonna say 2K20 or something like that. And said you went. No, it's 2K11.
Oh, I skipped a decade. Yeah, I have no semblance of time.
You want to go back? Well, nobody does. Listen, after 2020, time is meaningless.
Yeah.
Let's be honest with ourselves here. I had this argument with a girlfriend the other day. It was like, she's like, oh, your time perception's bad. I'm like, it used to not to be, but then 2020 happened, and I feel like I lost a year. And then there's there was so much shit that happened that you don't want to remember, so then you just forget it. But then the problem is you forget about that time period, that time too. So it's just like you're really, it's like forced Alzheimer's.
Yes.
It's really bad. Listen, we all have it, though. We all have it.
Yeah.
We're kind of going to that though. With the project, man, is like I'm in the same boat. There's a book I want to write. I worked with some scientists on it, and I want to get this book done. But the problem is I write 7 different comic books for SGJ's Comics, and we're doing a big, huge premiere thing again.
Right.
At the end of the year, and it's like, fuck, there's no way in hell. There's not. And it's like, and then on top of doing the podcast and animal stuff, like I get it. Like,
sure.
I think people think like you may not, like, there's a lot of time in creatives, and even in film, this is a thing too. When I worked in film for years, was there is I want to say, I guess the word would be backlog. Like we have backlog projects that as a creatives we all want to do, and things we all want to do. Like I used to do costume design. I want to get back to that. Just go to Goodwill and pick up a bunch of shit and make a bunch of shit. But
I want to just do real life stuff sometimes. But have such a backlog project.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
I know. Well, like, it's funny. Like, I've been married about almost 3 years now. We haven't taken our honeymoon yet, and then we were about to take one, and then the pandemic hit.
Oh, that's fair.
We hadn't like really planned it, but we were like, all right, this is around the time we can go because I'm done with this project around then, and then we were gonna do our honeymoon, and then I had wrapped up this last run of Dead Legends 2, done a couple of things, and then it's like, all right, let's plan this again. But the pandemic's still on. We still don't know when things are opening back up. And then I got Star Trek. And now Star Trek is keeping me busy for like a year. But like now I think this is a good like, oh, I take a small break after Trek is done. Which I've still got 7 issues to draw, but
oh god,
which is great. I love the work, but
you're like, I want to take a honeymoon, you know, that'd be nice.
Yeah. So we're trying to figure that out.
Well, that's fair. I mean, well, here's the key though: is it just you that's messing up the honeymoon, or is that also her job too, or if she just stays?
No, I mean, she works. She's a manager of a tiki bar here in Indianapolis. So, you know, yeah, so it's a great bar. I actually just finished up some artwork for them as well, which is another project that I backlogged and like had to work that in. But you know, she manages, and you know, with the pandemic, you know, it's hard to get to hire people right now. Like there wasn't a lot of people that.
Hey folks, Dakota here with a little bit of an ad break, but this is one you definitely want to listen to if you guys are a comic fan, which you are if you're listening to the show. You guys like comics and you like reading them in person. Let me tell you, go to Drawn the Comics in Glendale, Arizona. This is not just a hype thing for this ad. Let me tell you, I've been going there for years. I've had Cam Brown on the show all the time. Such a good guy. It's such a good community. Everyone who works there, they know you. You get your box number, you get your thing. You get all you need to do there. You get your collectible toys, car, whatever it may be. Comics. It's all there for you guys. That's Drawn the Comics in Glendale, Arizona. Here's the address, 5801 West Glendale Avenue, Glendale, Arizona, in downtown Glendale. And if you guys want to visit them, you can visit them, drawntocomics.com, or find them on social media, and the number is 623-847-9090. You give them a call. Definitely, guys, I love going to the store. And this is not a fucking lie. I love going. It's so amazing. Thanks, everyone, and hopefully you guys check them out if you're in Arizona or maybe passing through. Remember, guys, Drawn the Comics. Go check it out for your books. Reading books in person is so much better than digital. But I love digital too, so it's a little bit of a toss-up. Support brick and mortar companies. We definitely need you to. Thanks, everyone. And now, without further ado, I'm going to take it back to future me.
We're looking for work in the service industry at the time. And it's hard to keep new people in and keep folks. So because of that, she's always working, and which is fine. Like, you know, the more she works, the more I can get done.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah,
she's gone. So
well, you know, it's one of those things. Like, we'll figure it out when we get to it. It's no big deal. So like, we're not in any rush to, you know, jump on a plane and go somewhere. It's like, we're still gonna stay married.
Yeah, which is
knock on wood.
Knock on wood. She listens to the show and she's like,
right,
bet.
Yeah, right.
Oh god,
is that a challenge?
We'll see what happens. It's just a complete fake out. It's like, oh goddamn it. You know, it's the thing I think with you being full time in the comics. The schedule's chaotic. It's like being full time in the film industry. It's chaotic as hell. You know, like it's shit. Even with me doing comics, I'll just say entertainment, because I also do on the side too. And entertainment and animals, like there's days where I leave 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't get home until like 8:30 at night. You know, it's that long of a day, and then it's like when I come home and you don't know. You're getting thrown. You're like, oh, you get called in. Oh, you got to go do this transport for a crocodile, like in October. It's like, okay. And it's like, the schedule's crazy. But I think if you're with someone determined, and like I did a whole episode of somebody once where all we talked about was like, you know, when you have someone, you're with someone who works in entertainment or crazy job schedule and shit like that too. But if you both make it work, it's true. It's true love. It's a true thing.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely get the you said work in film and stuff. I used to work in TV.
Oh shit.
Yeah, not for very long. I did. There was like I was like a PA for Project Runway.
Oh, my condolences. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my god.
It was intense. It was fun. I was the overnight guy, which was great.
Oh, okay. All right, that sounds a little bit better. Okay.
Yeah, so like that was cool because like they'd spend all day filming at at Parsons, where they filmed most of the show. And then I was camped out at their apartment building where they kept him. And then they'd come back and I'd have stuff ready for them. I really only did like 2 hours of work and then like chilled for 8 hours and then did 2 hours of work at like 6 a.m. before I went home.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was all right. So I like, it was back when like 2010, so Netflix still had everything on it.
Yeah, Netflix was God. Netflix,
Yeah.
that generation where Netflix ruled streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
good
great.
days.
So I just watched everything and drew stuff in my spare time whenever I had the chance.
How old were you at the time?
So quick math, 24, 25.
24, 25? Okay,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I know you're not that old. So it couldn't have been
30, I'm 35, yeah. I'll be 36 next month.
It's life expectancy is still like 102, so you're good. That's you're still in teenage years, really, realistically. I think you're about to cross in the middle age, but not there yet.
I don't know if I want to be 102. Oh my God.
Could you gotta imagine after like the past few years what somebody feels like when they're 102 and have seen all the shit and 100. Right. Like you gotta think like, are they depressed? Like, are they really happy? Like that, I want to interview that person. Like
the 102-year-old.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah. When I
don't know if there are many 102-year-olds in comics.
No, just on my YouTube page or something like that. It'd be that I do like toy shit on and video game shit on. I'd be like, I just want to put it out there to be like, fuck it, why not? Like it'd be I want to get in the head of that person because I really want, like, when I did stuff with the Air Force when I was a kid, well, teenager really. I was doing stuff with them, and I got to meet some World War II vets and shit like that. I got ahead of those people. That was interesting. That was very interesting. I met a dude once who was an older guy. He gave a presentation, and he wanted to talk to me after because he knew I was doing stuff with the military. I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, come on down. He was one of the guys who liberated Auschwitz. Let me tell you, if you really want to get ahead into somebody here and have a really in-depth conversation about some real-life shit, that was the man.
Yeah, get that guy on the phone.
God, he had stories that you're like, I want a movie. Fuck Hacksaw Ridge. I want your movie. I'll cry and I'll love it. Oh, be boy in the striped pajamas all over again. Oh my God. But that's good. I mean, so if you like that was that back then you did TV with a PA and such like that. Like that you saying that, by the way, which is fascinating. I love that. How did you in the comics, man? Was it like
get in the I was going to Joe Kubert school at the time.
Oh, you were at the time? Okay.
Yeah, and so a buddy of mine, who I'd known from my my days of being in punk bands, like so I grew up in born and raised in Indiana, and then I moved out to New Jersey to go to Kubert school, and some friends of mine who lived in New Jersey I'd met through touring, and they had toured through, like we'd given each other shows, and I was about to go to Indiana, and my buddy Daryl, who's been doing TV production work for forever, just was like, hey, why don't you stick around this summer and do this with me? And I was like, yeah. So I just instead of coming home to Indiana and working in childcare, which was my summer job, I was just like, all right, let's do TV instead. That sounds much more fun. And it was a cool experience. I got to do that, and then I didn't really do anything with it like afterwards. Like I went, finished school, graduated, and then when the Super Bowl was in Indianapolis in 2012, a lot of TV shows came here to film, so a lot of old contacts got in touch with me to do some work on like the show called Man Caves. I think I did another one.
That one.
Yeah, I did like the Super Bowl episode. I was like, helping the director and like running and getting lunch and shit like that. So like, I mean, it wasn't anything special. It was just like kind of like on the field. Like at one point I was like 10 feet away from Peyton Manning being interviewed, which is kind of cool. And then there was one moment where the director was like, hey, Gavin, come here. Listen, take this form. If Adam Sandler comes around, I need you to get him to sign it. Oh my God. But if he starts being a dick to you, get out of there. And I was like, what? God. So there was like an instance where like I could have been in a position where I tried to get Adam Sandler to sign something and he doesn't like it. So, but look, I think he ended up bailing on the interview anyway. Which,
that sounds about right for him, actually.
Yeah,
that sounds like Adam. Oh my God, that's cool.
Yeah.
Though. I mean, listen, we've all done the PA jobs in entertainment. You just literally did it. I was a PA for a couple different times, and holy shit, that was. I mean, it was fun. It was entertaining, and then
it's a thankless job.
Yeah, I really was. I remember one time I was on the set as an extra, and it was on a film set, and I was playing a college kid or some shit like that too. We were there for like 6 hours or some shit like that, and then I came back. It happened actually twice. The first time it happened because it was actually kind of two different things in there. So, but it leads up to a celebrity that was just like, what? I actually interviewed him later. But Greg Grunberg, I was on the set, and Greg Grunberg just walks through the door. And I'm like, oh, shit, hi, how you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, hello, sir. And this was only like 3 years ago.
Right.
At this point. And we're just on a film set together. I was like, oh, shit, hi. He's like, hey, man. And then, like, later on, I did a scene the next day. And then he actually sat down and started talking to me and shit like that, too. And we talked for a little bit and why his, like, Geeking Out show with Kevin Smith didn't really work out and shit. It was just this whole fast. I was like,
thing.
Right? I don't know. But it is. And, it's just that whole thing where I was just like, wait, what? Greg Grunberg's here? Like, holy shit. Like, he just walked through the door and you're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
I
had a similar moment like that on Runway when I was so they do this thing where they film the main chunk of the show and then they send everybody home to build their dresses and outfits for Fashion Week. And so like the initial filming had got done, I came back to Indiana to like hang out with some friends for a couple weeks before my senior year at Kubert school started. And I got the call about a week before school was about to start. And they're like, hey, we need you to come back and do some stuff for Fashion Week. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I drove back to New York and did that. And my first day back on the set, go, come on. My first day back on the set, I'm like chilling. Like, I haven't seen any of the contestants. I'd actually become good friends with a lot of the contestants at that point. So they had me in a spot that I wasn't normally at, but I was like, whatever, like it's PA work. No one really knows who's there. They just see, if you're a PA, they just see you and say, hey, do this.
Hey, so, give me coffee.
So like you can just kind of like fuck off and just still get paid if you wanted to. Like
you're not wrong.
Kind of go somewhere and be like, no, I'm running this errand for so and so, and they're like, oh, okay, whatever. So I'm not where I'm supposed to be as as you do as a PA, and I'm looking for the contestants because it's like, yo, I haven't seen you in a month, whatever. And so I'm up where I thought they should be, which is the green room, which is around the corner from I don't know if you've ever been in Parsons.
No.
Where they filmed the new school. It's like on 42nd Street and 7th, I think. But I'm up there and I'm looking for him and I can't find him. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll just go back, to my station. And I'm waiting on the elevator and it opens up and like dead center is Heidi Klum. So I just kind of like scooch to the right and get out of the way. And then it's like a clown car of like cronies are following her out of the elevator. And like, she's like saying something. They're all like, yeah, Heidi, of course. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, that was weird. And it's crazy because like, pictures don't do her justice. She's like crazy gorgeous in real life. Like it's not real. But so I go back down and I'm hanging with a friend and we're having lunch and waiting for them to start film. They're waiting for Heidi to come back. And it's about like an hour later, she comes back down the elevator and I've got like this falafel in my mouth. like we're eating, I'm talking to my friends. And now there's only 2 cronies following her. And she's coming back down the elevator and they're arguing about something and they walk right by us and she just goes, you guys agree with me, right? And like, we have no fucking idea what she's talking about. We're just like, I'm just like, fuck yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. You're not going to tell Heidi Klum she's like wrong over whatever argument she happens to be having. So no, that's
the right choice.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah, you don't like. I think that's the beauty of working in the arts, man, is that you just don't know what the hell's gonna happen. Whether it's comics, it's film, you don't know who you're gonna meet, you don't know what's gonna happen. Doing this podcast, I remember once, and the people at home like comics, like yeah, this does pertain to. If they listen, if they're this far in the show, they know.
Yeah, we might talk about comics today. We'll see.
Yeah, we did at some point, so that's fine.
Yeah.
I remember I got an email, and it's like, "Hi, I am such and such, representative of HBO, of Warner Brothers," and I'm like, "What?" And I was like, "There's no fucking way. There's no way. HBO's emailing me about the show, about this podcast. There's no way." Turns out they did, and then I had the girl who played the Dorothy in Doom Patrol season 2 on the show. And I was like, what? And then it was like 2 weeks later, like Fox is like, I'm a representative from such and such. I'm representing this character. One of the guys from the Fox show that lasted a season, that was one of Marvel's characters. There was a Marvel's. It was the Hellstrom show.
Oh, I don't even know that one.
Yeah, that was like last year, the year before, man.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, they did. Oh fuck! It was Hellstrom and his sister, if I remember correctly. And it was like some dark magic thing, but not tied into anything. And they tried doing like, I think they tried to use it to be like, it's comic books and it sells mid-2000s horror shows like Buffy and stuff like that. You guys tune in to watch. And they tried, and I don't know if it didn't work or what, but I talked to one of the guys who played a villain in the show and shit like that too. And I was like, there's no, because I even sat there, I was at work. I was at one of the M hospitals. And I'm sitting there and I get an email. I'm on my lunch. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, HBO? The hell? Like, it's just like a thing I look through and I'm like, there's no way in hell. Yeah, it turned out. You don't know. You just don't know. And I'm like, would you think you'd be working on Trek right now?
That's a weird thing where I didn't actively pursue Trek. I had just been talking with IDW for a while.
That kind of goes into it, though. That goes into it. You wouldn't think it came out of nowhere. That's what I'm saying. Like, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I definitely fostered the relationship with IDW, and then it became Trek was very cool. Like I wasn't a big Trekkie. I'm still not really a big Trekkie, or like and really know anything about the show. Really, I watched a little bit of it here and there. But now I'm like deep diving into this show, and I'm really loving it. But it's a weird thing because I also have to indirectly deal with Trek Official.
Which makes sense. I mean, it's a big IP, so you're gonna have like
Like IDW is Viacom and TV, that sort of thing. So which is also Star Trek. Yeah. So which makes sense why they have that license. But like, they I'll turn in a batch of pages and I'll send it to my editor, and they're saying, oh well, Trek doesn't think Geordie LaForge should be that tall, so can you change that, or blah blah blah, stuff like little stuff. And they're pretty cool about what they want as far as corrections. They haven't been too crazy.
You can't. It's continuity police in a way here, so it makes sense.
I mean, but I think we have a little bit of freedom because the series I'm doing is the Mirror War stuff. So it's alternate universe stuff. But I mean, Riker's still got to look like Jonathan Frakes.
Who I've interviewed, by the way, too. Amazing dude. Cool. Amazing dude.
Seems like a cool guy. He's actually supposed to be here in Indianapolis next month. But I'm out of town for a different show, so I won't get a chance to meet him. So and my first issue isn't even out then anyway, so it wouldn't really do anything.
Okay. That's when you bring over, you get a printout and be like, hey, I'm doing a comic book with your character in it. Here's you. Don't show this to anybody, but can you sign this? And
I'd bring over like a box of comics and be like, sign these for me. I'm going to resell these later.
At least you're honest. You're like, oh hell no.
I mean, like, I'd shell out, because I know he's probably got a signing fee. I'd work something out where I can get like, do something with that. But
you know what? You should get a discount for drawing this dude.
That's kind of how I feel too.
I've drawn you for so many issues. I get a discount.
I've been staring at your mug nonstop for the past couple months.
And you know what? Could be better, but I'll say, please give me a discount.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's how you finagle.
Yeah, right.
You mentioned though that 2 weeks ago you went to a Comic-Con. We're dating the podcast, but I fuck it.
Yeah.
You went to like a mini con sort of thing like that. How was that?
It
Because
was
I know they're slowly coming back.
so it's my second official one back. I did one here in Indy that was it was more of a pop culture con, so it had a lot of like voice actors were like the main guests for like cartoons, and like they kind of cater to a lot of like TikTok, YouTube kids. So like it wasn't necessarily a Comic-Con, but I do okay there anyway because it's hometown. And so I did that one. That was fine. But this one was more of a Comic-Con. It's more very comics based, artist based. It's in Dayton, Ohio, called the Gem City Comic-Con. It's a great show. I think myself, Stuart Sager, Brian Level, Matt Horak, Dan Parent, are some of the guests, and it was a good time. But I mean, it was fine. It was a little bit of a smaller show because it's Dayton, Ohio, and it's like I don't expect like gangbusters, but it seemed fine. Like everyone was very respectful. Like some people were still wearing masks, and like I brought along like hand sanitizer and wipes to wipe down my portfolios and my books.
I mean, let's be honest, you should anyway, even before COVID.
Right. You're absolutely right.
Known as a petri dish, man. They were known.
I know. Right.
I got sick doing free comic book day once at a booth. So I did a booth and I was a guest, and I got sick from that. I'm like, this is free comic book day. What the fuck?
Right. Yeah. Concred just got a whole lot scarier.
So. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that was the name of it. That's right.
Yeah.
Was it like? Did you feel kind of off though about it or not? This is me.
I think that doing the PopCon got me back into practice of doing it. But also I had Trek deadlines, so I'd actually brought work with me. So I was like, if I wasn't talking to someone, I had my head down and I was working. So I was making it work for you, or making it work for me. Sorry.
No, you're good.
And I was sorry. I was like flipping through my script and I saw the word "you" and I was like, huh? I'm working as I talk to you also.
That is totally fine. Almost every single artist I talk to, they're usually working. It's totally okay.
Yeah. So I was working as I was doing it. When I wasn't working, I was drawing commission for somebody, or I was, it's also a lot of a show where I see a lot of people I know because it is only 2 hours away from me. So a lot of people that run in those circles were there, and I got to catch up with them. That's nice. And I've seen a lot of these people in about 2 years now. So that was cool. I mean, it seemed fine. It seemed like a good show back. I think my first big, I got a couple other ones coming up. Like I'm pretty much off August. I'm doing a couple signings at a store next week for the release of Dead Legends 2. But and then Free Comic Book Day. But my next one is Lexington Comic and Toy Expo in Lexington, Kentucky. And then the week after that is Cincinnati Comic Con, which is a great show. A lot of people go to that show. And then New York Comic Con. So these are all like building up to the big one in New York.
Was that one in person?
Yeah, it's in person this year.
Okay.
So I'll be going back there for that. And just trying to figure out how to navigate that life in New York.
So you're doing Gavin Smith the tour really in 2021 is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, I usually do a lot of conventions anyway before Trek. And it's funny because when I got this, I told my wife, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to cut back on conventions, but all the conventions that I want to do are all backlogged to the end of the year. So like I've got to go back to back to back to back. And I'm sure some of those conventions, like some of these conventions, like C2E2 is usually in March. And but they're doing it in 2021 in December. So I just know I'm going to do this 2021 show, and then it's going to be in March in 2022. So like it's all gonna, like this next like year is going to be really just heavy with them, I think. And as much as I'd want to cut down and stay home and work, I imagine I'll be on the road just as much as I didn't want to be until like things kind of level out, which might not be till like 2023.
Yeah,
chill out again.
Yeah, that was the hope was going to be next year, but people ruined that shit fast.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that's do you? Because I mean, with that being like that and the heavy schedule, like going all over the place in the big tour, like AC/DC in their final tour of like the past 20 years,
Right.
uh, and I
Right.
just got I aged myself with that because there's gonna be
No,
people
it was
listening. I had to explain what Blockbuster was, my man. All right, the other day, they're like, so listen, I
I did
do
that to a
feel
kid the
that.
other day too, actually, at that
Really?
convention. I was yeah,
Oh,
because it was funny because I think this kid had asked me like why I chose to do a martial arts book. And I had to explain to him, I was like, well, it was, when I was your age, like my dad took me to this place called it was Video Stop, then got bought out by Blockbuster. But we go to this place called Video Stop, and I'd yell at my dad from across the store if I can get this, martial arts movie, and he'd say, "What's the rating?" And I'd say R, and he goes, "No," and I'd yell back. This is a story my dad tells to this day, and I'd yell back to him. I was like, "But it's only for violence." And
it's
somehow
not
that
for
convinced
sex,
him.
Dad.
Yeah, yeah. That was a big thing. They didn't
Oh,
care
that's
if we
great.
saw someone's like head getting ripped off, but God forbid we see a nipple. Um,
Right? Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the thing. That's still to this fucking day too. Don't even kid, Gavin. You know that like you're like,
yeah,
oh no, they're seeing tits. It's got to be immature. Yeah, but the movie that's playing next door is rated R. There's aliens bursting out of people's chest over there. Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
uh,
Sounds like
like
the mailman's here because Coco's going crazy. Anyway,
going too.
but oh, where was I going with this? Yeah, so I ended up. You were asking me about touring, doing
Oh yeah,
all
yeah,
the.
yeah. I was getting to it. I was getting to it. I was getting to it. I was wondering, like, do you work on the road at all? Like, is it possible to
It's
draw
hard.
comics? Is it hard?
Yeah, it's hard. But it's like I think it's Mike McCone. I think he actually did this thing a couple years ago where he actually just was living in an RV, traveling from show to show, and then working
Oh
on
shit.
books during the traveling. Yeah. I usually, if I don't have to, I won't take pages with me. But whenever I am kind of up against the wall, I'll bring pages with me. But I only want to bring pages that I have to ink because I can't like pencil on the road. It's just too much work, too much concentration. So like when I'm inking, I'm kind of in autopilot almost. So it makes it easier to work that way. So I've done it plenty of times. I know, and even one time, not for a convention, I had to go to. My wife and I went to Arizona for her my brother-in-law's wedding, and I had just gotten. I was helping out on Ghost in the Shell, and
Ooh.
yeah, there was a hardcover that Kodansha Penguin Random House put out back in like 2018, I think. And so Brent Schoonover had gotten in touch with me, and he was, I think he was working on something for Marvel at the time, and he got Ghost in the Shell, so he couldn't do it all at the same time. So he hired me and a guy named John Bivens to do like we all did like 13 pages each of this 39 page story. So like we just split it up evenly. It's just like, all right, do this section, we'll put it all together later.
Okay.
And
it's a good way to do it.
yeah, and it worked out. But like the we only had like 2.5-3 weeks to do the whole thing because I think someone else had the job before Brent, and then took too long to tell people that they couldn't do it. So we kind of got pushed into this crazy deadline, and then I had to fly to Arizona, to Phoenix, and we get there, and my wife and I basically check into the hotel room, and it's like I just go, okay, well, have fun hanging out with your family. I'll be here. Just let me know when the wedding is. I'll see you there. And I just sat around like drawing Ghost in the Shell stuff.
I mean, it sounds like
Which
it
was
could be
fine.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, it could be fun. Maybe.
It was a fun gig. I just sat around,
Yeah.
watched hotel TV, and drew pages. So
Oh, I did that in Vegas not too long ago. Me and my best friends, we saw each other. We're all one lives in Arizona now, but two of them still live back in Illinois, where I'm from. And we did that. We watched the hotel TV. I gotta get this on record. It was the funniest shit. Is like we were just taking a relaxing, just chilling after the lazy river in a hotel, and they're big, way bigger sports guys than I, even though I'm sort of big in sports too. And we turn on ESPN. I'm like, all right, just kind of relaxing. You know, I'm charging phones. We look on there, and they're like, dude, look at this. I'm like, what? I look on TV, professional cornholing.
Oh my gosh!
I kid you not. I watched 40 minutes of this.
I believe it.
Could not look away.
You just get so like dumbstruck by it. You're like,
there's
how is this?
Audience. There's chain link. It looked like there was like the arena was chain link fencing and like a warehouse. There was an audience around. They were wearing jerseys, like soccer jerseys.
Wow.
Like, and it had all these brands, like heavy brands and shit. We're all like talking like heavy like AAA companies were just like branding themselves on these guys and the jerseys. And it was like guy v girl, and they're looking at each other in the eyes and getting all into it and shit. They're on the goddamn hacky sack and it hits, and you're like, yeah, no, and it's go, yeah, when it hits, it go like, and the guy, the announcers in there were like Mexican luchador announcers. And they're like, and here, oh, and it goes in, whoa, and there's so close in there, and it's like, what am I watching? Like, we may have been watching an hour of this. Hotel TV is fascinating.
I would have gotten sucked into that. I don't blame you at all. My buddy, travel buddy, I mentioned before, Stuart Sager. Like we tend to travel together a lot. We usually watch like without fail, anytime we go anywhere, and we've got commissions or pages and stuff that we brought from home. We're always drawn in the hotel room, and like we can without fail find something Kevin Hart is in.
Oh, really?
On TV, yeah, like without fail. We're like, we don't even try at this point. It's like, well, here we go. This one.
That tells a lot.
Yeah,
that just tells a lot. You know what? I rewatched them. I didn't rewatch. I watched the Jumanji movies finally in there, and my God, he's so glorious, man. I like Kevin Hart.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, they're good. They're actually really good. Yeah. I was like, this movie's sacrilege. You can only have the one Jumanji. Right. And then I was like, you know what? You can actually have at least two more.
And it's got The Rock, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah, why not? The Rock and Kevin Hart, who's pretty cool. You know, Black Adam, it's fine.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God. I mean, that kind of actually thinking about that a little bit here is, you know, you've done a lot. You've done some IDW now. You've done a bunch of comics before. You're obviously a busy working artist and shit like that. Is there any like, put it on Ethan, man, Gavin? Like, is there like, do you have some like really big hit characters that you want to try out sometime?
Oh, absolutely. What's funny about it is when I got Trek, I was trying to get Ninja Turtles. So it's funny. Like I've been in touch with the Ninja Turtles editor and the editor who hired me for Trek. And honestly, I was looking for just like a one shot, like a fill-in issue. But when Trek was offered, it was 8 issues, and I was like, I can't turn that down. It's too good. Like,
yeah, right.
I got to do that. So
1 versus 8. I mean, one payment helps too, and 2, it's a lot of more fun work.
It's fun work, and it's consistent, and keeps me busy. And so I definitely want to try Ninja Turtles at some point. Maybe Judge Dredd. Those are both with IDW, so that would be fun. I've always wanted to do like a Daredevil or Flash run. I think those would be fun.
I could really see you doing those characters too. I really could.
I like Daredevil a lot. Like he's one of my favorite characters. So like
Daredevil's had 0 bad runs in the past 3 years.
It's crazy how good Daredevil has been
such a long time. Yeah, like it's like the Flash books. They're doing so good for such a long period of time.
Yeah,
and the Green Lanterns were for such a long period of time too. It bewilders me. It's like characters that people wouldn't have even thought would do really good in comics. That are people like, oh, then most people are buying them because of the show, right? No, they're doing a lot of people buying them, and they're really, really good because they are, and the writing is beautiful.
Right.
Oh my God.
Another character I've always wanted to do. Well, I wanted this before. I wanted Hellblazer.
Really?
Yeah, Hellblazer was a thing I really wanted to do. Like when it was still with Vertigo, and they canceled it, and it was over 300 issues. And I figured it was like one of those books that was just going to run forever. And it's like, all right, maybe I'll get a shot one day.
Yeah.
But then they canceled it, and now it's like they do John Constantine one-offs and stuff, or minis, and that's fine. Justice League was always something I want to do, but now that I've done a team book, I'm like, do I really want to do another team book?
Yeah, I've even written the team books a bunch, and they're hell. Like even writing teams is rough.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm Star Trek is the ultimate teen book. I think if I can handle this,
yes.
I should be fine. I would love
that?
to do Justice League because I have such an affinity for like a lot of different eras of Justice League. Like I'm a big fan of the Silver Age stuff. Like that's the stuff I collect out of like, long boxes when I go to conventions. I'm a big fan of the Justice League International
But what
stuff.
about Justice
Morrison's
Society,
JLA.
man?
I like Justice Society too. I would take Justice Society, but like Morrison's JLA like hooked me. And that was what, like, I was always kind of a casual comic reader as a kid, and then when I started reading Morrison's JLA, that got me in full time. That and Mark Waid's Flash Run.
Oh, those would definitely do it. They're all good shit there. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And so my first corgi, who I mentioned earlier, was named Wally after Wally West, which is responsible for Mark Waid's Flash Run. Made me fall in love with Wally.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
If it helps, we had a bearded dragon. We adopted him. We adopted him when he was sick. He had a metabolic bone disease, right? MPD. Not really going to last much long of time, but we adopted and tried to give a living home from the sanctuary.
Sure.
And we did. And I was like, oh, we could. My girlfriend and I were trying to decide a name, and I'm like, what if we go with Chief? She's like, Chief. I'm like the guy in the wheelchair from Doom Patrol. He can't move his back legs.
Oh wow!
Rest in peace, Chief. He passed a little bit ago, but rest in peace, Chief, the bearded dragon. So that I was like, yeah, fuck it, why not? Because everyone's gonna do Xavier. I've seen crippled animals named Xavier a lot. Let me tell you. And so I was like, fuck it, we'll do Chief. No one ever does Chief. Hey folks, Dakota here, giving you guys a little bit of an ad break, but something really, really cool though. I swear to God. I have a new store, to say the least, here, and it's called DakotaMorgan.store. It's a new Teespring store that we have going on here, where if you like this show, we have the Man of Steel-esque logo, to say the least, here, the Comic Chronicle podcast logo, on some shirts, some mugs, some tote bags, but we also have some really other cool stuff on the Teespring store. That is, of course, we have video games, our therapy, design, like little digital heart logo that we have on there, Blockbuster Kid, a little riff on the Blockbuster logo on there, show that you're a Blockbuster Kid with the Blockbuster Kid logo shirt. We also have fun designs on there that are dinosaur-esque. Well, they're dinosaurs, but mixed with modern animals, such as our Tricera cow and the Oviraptor mixed with a blue and yellow macaw, to say the least, here, with a little bit of tropical flowers with it, and much more stuff on there. Of course, you guys can get all these designs on mugs, travel mugs, stickers, tote bags, t-shirts, and I think a little bit more too, but you guys are going to have to check that out here. That is DakotaMorgan.store. And it will take you straight to the Teespring store. And, of course, they are very affordable for you guys because I know times are tough. So they are definitely affordable for all those nerd fans out there. But wear your freak flag high, whether it's with comics, video games, a throwback to good times, or better times, to say the least, or paleo with some dinosaurs, and that would make things pretty cute. Of course, so we have women and men shirts available as well, too. Thanks, everybody. You all rock. Remember, DakotaMorgan.store. Now, back to the show. You mentioned Vertigo, by the way.
Yeah.
And I got to do a special on it or some shit like that. There's a Vertigo comic that's being made into a TV show for HBO Max that nobody's talking about. And Rosario Dawson posted a fun behind the scenes, them screwing around in the trailer on the set of it. She even said on the set of this book, on this TV show. Do you know which one that is?
Let me think.
It's not superheroes.
Well, yeah, Vertigo. So
yeah. Well, it's not.
Creature's been done. It's not Why the Last Man because that's FX.
It lasted 10 years.
10 years. 100 bullets?
No. At least I think it was 10 years it lasted. It lasted many, many years and got a lot of awards.
100 bullets sounds.
It's a book that has an ending, but it's a very long thing that could be a very long TV show, and it's very
not Sandman.
No, that's already being made. That's already being made. Yeah.
I don't know. What is it?
DMZ.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No one's talking about this, and I feel it's so underrated that no one's. She even posted. She's like, on the set of DMZ, and I flip shit. I'm like, yes, it's happening finally. It got delayed because of COVID, but it's still being filmed very secretly. Like it's coming to HBO Max. HBO Max is a streaming service where they can do whatever they want. Yeah, DMZ. Do you remember much about that one?
I read like the first volume forever ago. I think I have the second volume too, and I remember digging it, but it never really like. I don't know if it hit me as as much as like other Vertigo books did. Like,
Yeah,
like I said,
compared
I was a big Hellblazer guy.
yeah,
Why the Last
compared
Man
to
was huge
that
for me.
shit.
Preacher.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Compared to all the other Vertigo stuff, it doesn't stand a chance. like you got like Constantine and shit like that. You're like, yeah, and then everyone's like DMZ, the book about war and peace, and rebellion in New York City where a lot of kids die. Like, oh, like.
Yeah. I got really excited. I was on Twitter the other day. I got real excited because I saw some like graphics house, and I think they did it for fun. But they posted like one of the dogs from We 3, and I got like a computer animation. I was like, holy shit, is there a We 3 show being made or a movie? Like, because I would lose my mind if that happened.
It's possible. It's so possible.
I think it was fan made, but like I don't know. I know. I would love if that were true, because that is the book I tell anyone who has never read a comic that doesn't want to read superheroes to read. That's what I tell them to read.
Yeah, that's honestly that's honestly it. I mean, there's the one final one that we're never gonna get.
What's that?
Saga.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Jesus, they'll finish it ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny because like I think what was the last volume, like 10 or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, they've actually done the compendiums now. They made like 3 of them.
Yeah, but like I think like after I've got the trades right here. I'm trying to see what the last one was. It was 9 was the last one.
Yep.
And they made it seem like unless I have them out of order. Nope, it's 9. They made it seem like, I think Brian K. Vaughan said like he's only halfway through. Like he's still got so much more.
Jesus Christ. I did not know that part about that.
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
You
know what? Like, cool. If this book goes on for the rest of my life, that's fine. That's cool.
Yeah. That's 100% okay.
Yeah.
I like it's a weird thing, man. I mean, we're in like comic book TV era now. It was the movies for the longest period, and now it's going into TV shows. We have The Boys, like
that's
which, by the way, I talked to the co-creator of The Boys, actually, kind of a friend of mine, and
Derek,
Derek. He's been on the show before. I owe him a beer too whenever he's in Arizona. He said he's gonna really hold me up to that. And like we get The Boys, and we get all these shows now. Like I said, we have DMZ coming out. Like it's great. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think so too. It's good for the business. I think that it's good for creators getting paid for this stuff. More money than they would get paid for making the books. So
it's true. It's true. Maybe I'm just saying it because my indie series maybe need to be made in the shit. I'm just gonna but you know what? Netflix, we're available. Right. There's all sorts of books.
Call us both.
Right? Yeah, we have some shit for you. But yeah, speaking of that though, we are coming near the end because it's already 53 minutes. We've been talking for almost an hour, but
oh wow,
53 on the. Yeah, I just looked at the timer like, holy shit. I don't want to take too much of your time today because I know you're 3 hours ahead. You reminded me that because Indiana is 3 hours ahead.
We're on Eastern, yeah.
Yeah, I forget Indiana's on Eastern because Illinois is on Midwest. Like,
oh yeah, it's funny because sometimes my wife and I will go to Michigan. There was one. Okay, this is another time I was working on the road in a different wedding. I had to
what?
A different wedding is my wife's best friend. We had to go to her wedding that was in like on the Indiana-Michigan border, Lake Michigan. And I was working on a story for Heavy Metal, and I had left a lot of my art supplies at home. So I was in Indiana, or I guess in Michigan at that point, and I had to drive to the closest Walgreens to pick up some like pencils or some pens or whatever, just so I could do some work. Yeah. And we had a bad night's sleep because we were staying in like this very old school like motel sort of thing, like a bed and breakfast sort of thing. There's no air conditioner, there's no cable, anything like that. So, and it's like the middle, like it's like summer's coming to an end, so it's like super hot and the room's stuffy, and like so my wife and I slept terrible. So I woke up at like 6:30 and I'm like, well, the wedding's not till whenever. I'm gonna try to get some work done. And the Walgreens that's closest to us, I see it opens at 7. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll just go down there and drive. And get there right when it opens, grab some pencils and stuff, be good to go. I get there at 7 Indiana time, but what I didn't realize I crossed over into Central Time Zone, and it was now 6 o'clock. So I know, so I had to wait like another hour just to get this stuff. And it's only like, and it's literally, this Walgreens is like on that Central Eastern Time Zone border. It's so stupid.
God, the bane of my existence is these time zones, man. We talked about earlier, talking to people from France. Could you imagine the time zone difference I had? There's
God.
Like, I've had people on the show before I really want to talk to, and some people reached out to see if they could come on. I said sure, and then I asked what time zone they're in, and I'm like, oh, I'm in this time zone. I've had time zones where it's almost 10 hours.
I believe that. I talked to a buddy of mine from London. Usually we do like movie nights or days where we get together and we just watch movies all day. A bunch of other artists, but like, he's in London, that's 5 hours different. So if you're on the West Coast, that's another 3 hours. That's I mean, if you're trying to talk to somebody from London, that's 8 hours at least.
The only saving grace is Arizona doesn't change its time zone for some unknown reason. It's the only state.
Where in Arizona are you from?
Phoenix.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Not from here. I want to make it clear. I've only been here a couple years. I've only been here a few years, but
right.
It's my home state. I want to make it clear because it's way too hot here. It's just way too hot. It's 105.
But it's a drivey.
Yeah, I'll tell you. You know what? For the past 3 months, I have had weather alerts, and every time I look at the computer, it says it's either the heat or then it will change to polluted air. I've had so much polluted air alerts, I feel like I'm in Beijing. It is insane. And I look out the window and people are like, oh, look at all the smog out there. It looks like a cloud. I'm like, how can you say that peacefully? Like, what are you talking about? What the hell? Meanwhile, I'm like, my best friends are living in like cornfield area, like out there now because they moved further out. They're not like in deep suburbs anymore, Chicago, so they get like some forests and shit too, mixed with a little bit of the city, so it's not bad. I'm like, fuck, I miss that. I'm watching Clarkson's farm. I'm like, God, look at that air. But we really got to get to it, man. Is you and your books coming out, because we mentioned it here, and I'm a big fan of helping other people out. So, what books can people go to, my brother? What can they check out coming up that you can talk about?
Yeah. So I have nothing that I really need to keep secret anymore. So Dead Legends Volume 1 came out January of 2020, right before the world went to hell. It's 5 issues, of martial arts series, kind of in the vein of Enter the Dragon, Bloodsport, Mortal Kombat, that sort of thing, but our people don't throw fireballs. The gist of it is a woman enters a martial arts tournament to get revenge against the guy who kills her husband, but she can't just straight up kill the guy. She has to run the brackets of the tournament to get to him. But during the course of the tournament, she finds out she's 2 months pregnant with her now dead husband's kid. So she's fighting for 2. That's Dead Legends. Volume 1 came out, like I said, in January 2020. During the pandemic, I worked my ass off and finished all of Volume 2. So that... and I finished that up back in February, something like that. But the first issue comes out a week from tomorrow. So that'll be August 11th. For whenever this is posted. So hopefully you can get into your shops and find that. I know it's hard to find creator-owned series, but I'm sure comic shops will be able to do that for you. The trade will be coming out. The way the release with Dead Legends works is we put out the first issue in print. So that's the only issue that goes to print. Issues 2, 3, 4, and 5 will be out on Comixology. But I think 2 weeks after issue 5 drops on Comixology, the trade paperback will be out in print. So that comes out October 13th. So August 11th, every 2 weeks, new issue digitally. October 13th, the trade. And then, as I mentioned several times during the course of our conversation, I am working on Star Trek: The Mirror War for IDW Publishing. It's continuing the Mirror series that Scott and David Tipton have set up. And, it's all your favorite characters from Next Generation, and they're just super buff, and they've got weird facial hair, and they're just, instead of on a never-ending mission of diplomacy through space and exploring new worlds, they're out conquering new worlds, and it's fucking sick. Yeah,
I want it.
It's it's Picard with a goatee, and he's just jacked as hell, and Riker with like this 2 ponytails in his goatee and beard, and he's got a crazy scar and missing an eye, and Deanna Troy's hot. It's great. It's good stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. I want it. I want it now.
I'm drawing the 2nd issue right now, and it's just a lot of fun.
So like we said, you are busy as hell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I mean, you know what you said you said it a minute ago, like it's tough for people to find creative own stuff. But you know what? Yeah, you're right. Comic book stores will help you out there. Plenty of places to go look for it. I wish it was a lot more easier to find the creator owned stuff as a creator owned guy. Let me tell you. But I think when anybody goes out there and actually finds it and gets it, there's the moment where you look back at it and you're like, oh, thank God I did that. You know, because it's like you're always happy about it. No matter what, you're always happy about it because you're never disappointed. Usually.
Well, it's crazy because like I've been doing, I've worked on a lot of independent series, but none of it's ever really been mine. And for the past, I've been drawing comics professionally for 10 years, and Dead Legends was me kind of going out and taking a shot on myself, and it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
So if you want to know more about me, Dead Legends is the way to go. Star Trek is also awesome. It's on the cover of previews, which is a fucking insane to me, and one of those things that I never thought I'd ever be a part of. Like, it just never registered on like a bucket list sort of thing to be on the cover of previews, but it is. But the way I got Star Trek was I did Dead Legends, so that go buy Dead Legends.
Yes, it started it all.
Yeah, and go buy Star Trek.
Yes, everybody. I mean, come on, you can't be disappointed by any of these. Well, Gavin, my good man, I want to say is where can people find you out on social media, boss, so they can follow you too.
Gavin P. Smith at Gavin P. Smith on Twitter or Instagram. A website that I might update once every 8 months or something like that is gavinsmithcomics.com. I also do a Twitch stream with a lot of people that we share an art rep, modern mythology comic art. It's myself, Sue Lee, Craig Cermak, who Sue Lee is drawing some Red Sonja stuff. Craig Cermak, who did A Man Among You for Image. Tyler Boss from 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank. Josh Hickson, who's doing a lot of Batman stuff right now in Shanghai Red and The Plot. Ricardo Lopez Ortiz, who's drawing the Batman backups right now. Adam Gorham. Who am I missing? Tom Riley, who's drawn a lot of stuff for Marvel. Morbius, I think, was the latest thing. I'm not going to blow up his spot on what his new thing is. But like the 8 of us tend to get together every week. We have guests on sometimes, but we just draw topics. We're on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Sulee Draws. SOOLEE Draws. It's on Sue's Twitch stream, but we get together and have a blast every week. You should join us. We get ridiculous.
Very nice. That's cool. I like that. See, I do Twitch for video games, and I'm a stupid piece of shit that does it. That's really cool.
Yeah,
that's a lot better.
Yeah, we started doing it at the beginning of the pandemic because we're all friends anyway. We just all happen to be, we have a private Slack chat that we hang out and talk in, and we were just like, let's just do this thing because it's something to do. Because we were all isolated at home, and it turned into a thing, and we're still doing it. And we get together Thursday nights at 8 p.m. I think I might have said Friday nights earlier, which that was our old time. We were doing it Friday nights, but now that the world's kind of getting back on track, people want to go out on Friday nights and do stuff. So we're Thursdays at 8 p.m.
Very cool. Very cool. I like that. I'm gonna have to start to it. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to really check that out. Gavin, good man, thank you for coming on the show. This has been a blast.
Yeah,
it's been really, really fun. Oh my God, it's trust me, after a long work week, it's only Wednesday, it's only Tuesday, but the past week, oh my God, I'll say, including last week, it's been a long. I had the most Monday of Mondays yesterday at the animal hospital. Let me tell you. So today, thank you so much. It's been fun, really much needed.
Yeah,
you're welcome back, man. You're welcome back.
Yeah. I'll let you know. I'll reach out if something big's happening. Got a new project in the works, or you got a slow week. You need someone to talk to. I'm in.
There's that too. But you have it on record that I said you can come back.
Excellent. Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks, good man. I'll talk to you later.
All right. We'll see you.